Yes. Welcome into our YouTube audience. We are live on TikTok as well. Hi, guys. You guys can see us on the screen. We're going to be inviting people in if they want to be in. We're going to switch and cycle through our different TikTok accounts because we seem to always have a problem after a while. So, figure if we can get in and out on TikTok with quicker live videos, we might all be better off. 6:58 already. We've been live. I want to say we've been live like 15 minutes. Not sure if we have a counter here. So this says 7 minutes. So I did run a little late today. Not for any bad reasons, but I just did. So caffeinated shenanigans. I think we're once again being suppressed. We will be tagging in another audience. And what we're doing, this is, I should not be rubbing my eyes. I'm like a kid. I'm sorry. We're kicking off the fall semester as the summer dies off on us. And that is not what you want me to see me doing, rubbing my eyes. So I apologize for that. They really hurt today a little bit. We're going to be welcoming in our other audience over on our Kinky Campus. Make sure that you guys are following us. We have a lot to talk about. And tonight, let's start off with protecting predators. Why does the community do that? I have constantly heard different people talking about how we've been protecting predators, and it's one of the worst things that I can do. You guys got to see out the TikTok video right now on YouTube. There's this new screen feature I really like where it makes the video onto the side, and it looks really good. I'm really digging it because we can see that you guys are making comments. Anyway, you can come join us over on YouTube. Same name as this channel, Kink Educator. And I'm pretty excited to be entering this third year, taking your questions and keeping it going. I've seen a lot of people come and go in that time period and did not have the staying power. You're welcome. And we have made 2 rotations around the sun, just about. We were talking about this before we went live. I don't know the exact. I think it's the 6th. I'm pretty sure we're 9/6 is our anniversary, which of course means that like Freaky Friday, would it be? No, Saturday, our usual day off. If I'm right, which I'm almost certain I'm right. Let me see, 4, 5. Yep, Saturday. But we're excited. So, why do people, and I want to know from you guys in the audience, why do you think people keep protecting predators? The obvious most answer is that most of the people who go out of their way, and this is the scary thing, not all, but it seems like trend wise, people start slices of the community, educational things, and like munches and stuff. And some, I think, like probably out of all the predators, half of them start to deliberately use those as a way to feed them. But I think there's half of the other predators, and this is not an excuse but a reality, that fall into line with predators and they realize they can get something out of it. And sometimes it's not even that they want to do anything to anyone else, there's popularity. Popularity is a very dangerous thing. It leads people to do very dumb things to each other, and it is very scary. And we're going to be talking about how you guys being silent sometimes can cause people to get hurt. And yes, there's that scary moment where we also have to address the fact that, you know what? Honestly, sometimes saying something comes at huge costs. I know, I've been doxxed. I dared call out a creator who was saying some bad things, and they sent people to come get me. And it was funny. Someone recently tried to dox me. I'm not even kidding you. Someone recently tried to dox me from the comic book side of things, which is funny to me because like that side's less dangerous. And they tried to start saying shit, and I was just like, don't make me motivated enough to find out who you are. Because with the kink thing, there's circumstances that I don't have to worry about with the comic space. And this was someone I could have tracked down. And I think they found out about me and then quickly realized that, yeah, I am that person. I have to dust off the laptop. YouTube is so much easier on laptop versus phone. It depends. If you're just going to watch it, it's probably just the same. But if you want to interact, yeah, YouTube is much better on a platform. I do like the look of it. Lauren, thank you for the love. White Boy Who, CA. I don't know if it was supposed to be Can. Lauren's got the little double heart. Thank you, Lauren. And give him some other stuff. We're having an exciting program already. I like the new icons. I'm getting like cool guy crowns and stuff. This is awesome. I don't think you can see it though, sadly, when you're watching on the browser. I didn't realize you guys can't see all the things I get, which is sad because they're really cool icons and I actually enjoy them. I like the one with the dino one. Oh, I love when we get the dino one just because it makes me happy. It really does. I'm not really much into all of this. I just put on the best I can, but the dino one always makes me smile. So Wednesday nights, we will always have a show now on YouTube. The goal is to have, for the most part, unless we say otherwise, you guys can kind of expect us to be live on Wednesdays and with the YouTube show. That show is generally going to be about 6:30 to probably 7:30, 8 o'clock. If we go bonus, are we migrating? We're trying to do all of it at once. So the idea would be to come on here, have some time, maybe scan between two channels. Because we've noticed that when we have problems, sometimes it's because we stay on too long. So we're going to go back to no more than a 1 hour TikTok. That's going to be a rule. We're also going to change it so we're going to have a lot of mixed content. So like if we're having a conversation, I might be like, hold on. We'll talk about that when we change to the other channel. While YouTube will actually get the entire story from beginning to end. We're trying to figure everything out. Lauren says, hello, I have been a silent watcher, but I appreciate your conversations. And I appreciate you guys, whether you're silent or loud, being there, listening and learning, because I do know that this helps spread the knowledge to other people, and that is what I'm all about. All right, you lovely people. What else do we got? What do you guys think? Give me a red flag. What's a red flag that someone is a predator? Shoot it out. I'm actually going to come back to this video and I'm going to read everyone's comment, and we're going to talk about it in a TikTok video. To me, I'll start it off. A huge red flag is the minute someone tells you don't need a safe word. That's it. Oh, you don't need a safe word. I know what I'm doing. Someone asked me today, and it was a good question. And I haven't even gotten to answer it yet. We should actually look because it could be a good time. They were asking about SSC, how you can't use SSC for edge play. And let me see if we can't find it, because I'd love to actually answer that one. I just happened to be out and about, and I didn't think I could answer it where I was.
I'll be honest, at first I was like, EP extended playlist?
All right, let me read this to you. Oh, no. Filtering already, huh? Sorry about that. Caffeinated Shenanigans, you're back up on the board. With damn autocorrect, editing equals vetting. Okay, when discussing edge play, the difference between safe, sane, and consensual interact becomes really important. And I go, why? And then they answered, and then we're going to respond to this. Oh, no. I accidentally hit the down thumb button. So let's get into this one. Perfect for right now. Okay, here it is. Safe and sane just don't always apply. For example, while everything has risks, there's a difference between the damage you can cause giving a spanking and fire or plasma play. Focusing on rack better highlights this as serious risks that can't necessarily be negated. So let's get into that, shall we? I'll be right with you, Lady Letty. So we are live right now, and I decided to take a moment to really address this. You're saying that SSC can't be used for edge play. I did catch the other comment. But what you're forgetting is that it's just us overcomplicating it. Safe, sane, consensual. Safe means have you put the things in place for safety. So for edge play, you should be talking about it with your partner. Everything starts with negotiation. Everything is about communication. Now, rack can be used for this, but I can use SSC. We have to use one that I can use on TikTok because TikTok's a little bit extra when it comes to the things we can talk about. So let's talk about it with something that is probably not going to get us in trouble. Let's talk about bratting. I called bratting edge play back in 2023. As we enter our third year, we're going to be able to reference other years that we have been doing this now. Exciting, right? So in 2023, when the internet was young and we first started this channel, we really didn't even start this channel that I'm answering you on this, but come with me for the ride. So we said that bratting was edge play because bratting deals with an emotional kind of back and forth. And you can trigger a person whether we want to or not, even if we stay within our negotiations. So how do you deal with something that's edge play with SSC, safe, sane, consensual? Well, first, we're going to talk about the safe part. Safe means safety. So we're going to take into account how we're going to safely do this. And to be able to safely do something, we're going to have to talk about the risks and how we're going to handle those risks and avoid them in an absolute way with the things that we don't want to go wrong. There's your safe. Sane, well, sane implies done with care. Everyone thinks it's the medical thing, but it's really not. Because this comes off a box of fireworks. So when they say sane, they intended it to be with care. Because there was a certain time that was being done and all that wonderful good stuff. So we want to make sure that we're having that be represented in one of the moments. Sorry, we just lost the feed. And we're trying to reboot the feed while I'm talking to you. I know it's timey-wimey because we're live, and now I'm recording for you. And then consensual shouldn't even be an issue. These extra things, these extra steps that we're having quite often are an issue. And we want to make sure that we're talking about them. Can you guys see me right now? Because I'm still here. Let me try this. Can you guys see me now? This is kind of weird because I can see everyone live right now. Nope. Very weirdly, I think it kicked us off. But I'm still live according to this. TikTok, you're always an issue. We're going to head over to a different channel, I guess. Just give me 1 second, guys. Let me finish this video and we'll go on a different channel. We got kicked off of live. Sorry about that. But you could easily use SSC. We bend over backwards for things. Now, rack, it kind of throws the risk-aware consensual kink out there. But again, if you're not doing it the right way, what does it matter? So it's really how you apply these things like rack and crick and SSC and diaper that I ask permission extensively representation. Those are all consent acronyms. And they're a way to make sure that we're getting consent the right way and we're being consensual the right way. But really, if you're putting in all the work, it should never matter. All right, we'll put this away now, and I will upload it later. And in the meantime, we'll go live on K EDU. We were live over on a different channel, and I don't know what happened. Hold on. Okay, we are live now, and we should have some people. So let's see if we can't get over to that. We'll go to TikTok here. Okay, we're going to get rid of that. We're going to do K EDU Campus. You guys can see this on your end. Yep, there I am. We're now live, so we're going to support the live. And we don't know what happened, ladies and gentlemen. We were live, and then everything stopped being live. I don't have an answer. We didn't get a nasty notification. It just went dark. And I tried to cut our ties to the internet at my house in case that was the issue, but it was not. So continued issues. But I mean, we were going to switch over anyway, so I'm not terribly upset by what has happened with this. So cheers, everybody. I'm just going to give people a minute to see if they jump over. All right. My eyes are the itchy balls. Hey, what's going on? This seems like this is going to be the place that we have to be now. I don't know what's going on with the lives over on TikTok. I don't know if we're being singled out or we're just having another issue today, but it seems like many of our lives have issues. I wonder if we can quickly jump on here. Let me see something. Let me check something. Let's see if it lets us go live. Hey, everybody. I don't know if you guys can see this, but we are back live, but we're not going to stay live very long. We're just testing this. I don't know what happened to our live a few minutes ago. It got cut off. I'm switching over to our other account, K EDU Campus, K EDU Campus. So for those of you who aren't aware that we're live again, I'm sending it out now. All right. All right, we sent out some invites. We're going to get it together when we figure out what's going on with TikTok a little bit more in the future. Like I said, not sure what's going on. For those who were watching us, please join us over on K EDU or on YouTube. YouTube, it's Kink Educator. Over here on the TikTok, we have our other channel, K EDU for Kink Education Campus. We are live right now on there. I don't know why we were cut off. And the funny thing is, from my end, I was never cut off. I saw people saying they couldn't see the feed. And I did everything I could. I switched this off to certain thing. And oh, man. What's shaking? Apparently, we're having issues staying live on Kink Educator. They just cut our feed where people couldn't see what was going on, and I could see it right now. We're on YouTube, and on YouTube I have the TikTok running in the background, but it just went dark. And I was like, hey, that's weird. So I reloaded it and it turned out we were there. Yeah, YouTube, just Kink Educator. We're over there, Lauren. I'd be happy to see you. So that's it for now. We can still go live on Kink Educator. We didn't have that taken away. They just did something. I don't have an answer, and it's really sad. I don't have an answer to what happened. They just cut the ability to see the video. Hey, Debbie, what's going on? So it's weird, but we're over on K EDU and on YouTube. Join us there. All right. Told all the Kink Educator audience there. Yeah, I have no idea. Honestly, haven't seen you in forever on TikTok. I'm there. We're just not getting the notifications. We're being punished. Lord knows why. Today's topic, by the way, are red flags, green flags, yellow flags. Please call them out. We're going to have a list of them on the YouTube. We'll do a follow-up video, hopefully. So far, it's only been my example, and the red flag was someone telling you don't need a safe word. But I'm happy to add anyone else comments or flags into the fray, as it were. But you have to, so on TikTok, when you're following someone, if we go into someone's, and I'll try to do it here, because I'll show you one of the other ones, that one of our other channels. So hold on, I gotta call it up. I'll call up Free Hugs and Spanks, one of our channels. Over the weekend, for those of you who follow me, also for the comics, saw the issues I ran into with comics. So it's been a busy couple of weeks. Lauren, I love the fact that you have it so your YouTube is the same as your actual TikTok. That's awesome. So many people should think about that. So what you do, ladies and gentlemen, I'll put it over here. And for you, so on TikTok, what you want to do is go down to the down button here. So is it the down button? No. It is the friendship button. No, where is it? Oh, it's the notifications. That's what it is. It's the bell up here. So there's a bell at the top and it goes right there. And what you want to do is notification. And when it says, make sure it's not personalized. So you want to make sure that you see all, and then all. You'll see notifications anytime posts a video. See, when it does the personalized, what that is that it's basically doing things that the AI is in control of. So if you want to follow us and know everything that's going on, go to our channel page. Up there in the top corner, notification. On YouTube, it's the same thing, by the way, guys. On the channel page itself, there's that bell, which made me realize it was the bell on here that allows you to follow us. All right. Caffeinated Shannon says, Lady Letty 100. How are you? People just talking to each other in the comments now. That's always good to take a break from TikTok when you can. That's my son being loud in the other room. He had a day too. So, red flags, green flags, yellow flags, what do you guys got? We were also talking about how consent violators seem to protect each other. One of the things that I think that was happening is that it's about popularity, because consent violators are usually great manipulators and they get very popular. And if you piss them off, they leave with their people. And it seems like some people are in this, and it's funny because there's often not a lot of money associated with especially munches, but if people feel like people aren't going to a munch, they think it's a failure. I have sat with 0 people showing up and turned on my TikTok and we had the munch together. I have put on over 20 events over the last year of me being in Port Charlotte, and we have begun to build like a game night that people talk about. Pet Power Exchange together through Beyond Leather is definitely getting us to be very popular. And Lady Letty, can you put in your, oh, wait a minute. I think this was the same thing. So alternative safe words is signals. No alternative safe words as signals. No aftercare, no safety tools, scissors, etc. No training. Training is probably a bad word that we should probably step away from. There is some things that are training. protocols and stuff like that. But a lot of this is educating with the person and then figuring it out together. Training implies that everyone is one size fits all. Not everyone's going to react the same way. Take 10 submissives and you're going to have probably 10 reactions that are slightly different. There might be some similarities, but ultimately there'll be slight variance because we're all unique, we're all people, and we all have our different likes. So I never like the idea necessarily of training because training is making someone a cog. We don't want cogs. We don't want replacement parts. We want human beings that we're interacting with and having amazing times with, right? Time for the Advil. I think I took Advil. No, I took Advil earlier today. It's been a long weekend of back pain. I've also been tired the last couple of days, like unreasonably tired. Someone smashed my car at the store the other day too. Went inside to get some food, came out, a little message on my window. Someone said, hey, someone crashed into your car. Here's their license plate. No phone number, no anything else. And then a cop came, basically didn't have the right license plate. They tried. The cops saw someone backing into my car because they did one of those spots where they had a big white van and smacked into it. So Lauren says, I mentioned a red flag on TikTok, but realized it may have been a bit narrow on my own experience. Nonetheless, it was over the top declarations of connection after very little interaction. No, that's a good one. That's actually a really good one. Also, here's a red flag. Here's a good one. When someone says something on, and I saw this firsthand and I'll never forget it. Someone had said online that they loved when people were passionate about things, right? And then someone made a comment on that person's post. Oh, I'm so passionate about these things. It made me want to vomit because I knew it. I saw it. And look for that. Look for when someone says something like, a big one is, oh, I only really mess around with people who really know me. And then if they're creep and they're predatory or they're insecure, they're going to go, oh, well, I know you really well. If you know someone really well, you generally don't have to say you know them really well. So that's a great one. That inspired me. Great comment, Lauren. Some need training in aftercare. Aftercare, it again, individualized. You all have to stop looking at kink and fetish and compellers as one size fits all. It is not, my friends. It is simply not one size fits all. Sorry, we have more things being thrown to the way. Pressurement scene, also known as coercion, definitely a red flag. That's a good one. Lady said training, education, practice, safety measures, first aid. Those are green flags. Good ones, Lady Letty. I think the word training only applies to being practice in the use of toys, etc. And if we think about it, the training goes to the top in that way, not actually the bottom. The bottoms aren't being trained. Think about that. Or in specific protocols. Yes, protocols is where the exception for the submissive is. Yes, that would be training. Yes, that is constantly going back over the thing over and over again. Nailed it. And that's what I was thinking. In my experience, Preds spend time crafting an image. People hold on to that image. Yes. And I think a lot of times that's because, especially for the people who have played with someone who is predatory and find out later they are predatory, but never experienced them on themselves. And I've said this, a lot of times what predators do is they pick and choose who they're going to violate. That just, oh my God, how horrible is that to say out loud? But I believe this. I believe this into my very sternum that this is happening. They play a cycle, 10 people. One of them they decide to do something with. And I don't even think there's a rhyme or reason. I think there's a characteristic they're looking for. in a person where when they think they can get away with it, they do. And at first, they do get away with it for a very long time. And what happens is they stop being selective. When someone keeps breaking a law and getting away with it, they'll continue to do it because there's no consequence. And I think that's what we see in kink. The lack of immediate consequence leads to more. And I've said it a lot of times. It seems like everyone's like, oh, DOMs are so bad. DOMs violate consent. But then I can track back in certain scenes, and this is including in New York, where one bad DOM has left 30 to 40 people feeling used and abused. And that's how quickly it can happen over a year or two span. And in New York, it happens fast. Down here in Florida, someone tried to ruin everything about me. Tried to ruin everything about me to excuse. Sent their minions. Still haven't gotten an apology. This person even came out admitting I had done things that were wrong and I'm going to take a step back and do it. No one ever reached out to apologize. That's the reality of the situation. That's why predators continue to grow in our communities. Because even when someone has been seen out, no one turns around. Look, in comics, there was someone who was predatory, and I called him out for it, paid a huge price for it, happily, pay it again tomorrow if I had to. But people try to cancel when we say something, and I saw a lot of people I thought I could respect just fall away because they would not stand with me in the right moment. And I would later become after, survived it. See, that's just it. I do. And when I knew that that person had been violating women and I had seen, and it wasn't a classic way, it was gaslighting, it was using them for things. While everything was technically consensual, there was a lot of lies about things. And it was that irky place where, oh, well, I don't want to get involved with anyone's relationships. This person was cheating on their wife. It was ugly. And I remember apologizing because I really thought, my God, how many women went over to this person because they were supposed to be an educator of comics, Dirk Manning, scumbag, human being. I remember having to say sorry multiple times. Look, I'm sorry, guys. I got this one wrong. And because I was a dude, I didn't notice it, but I'll never forget this one time, C2E2, Chicago Comic-Con. And I'm sick as a dog. And there's this young lady who we kind of hit it off. And we hit it off as like friendly, right? Like this was a nice person. We had talked. And as I was losing my voice, we're just kind of hanging out. And every time I started talking to this young woman, someone came over and interrupted. So I shrugged and kept talking. And that young woman would keep coming back and trying to talk to me, and I'd keep talking to them. I found out later, because someone else went to the same creator party, that it was Dirk Manning someone sent to send interference, because apparently up in Michigan, people knew Dirk Manning did this stuff. And I've had this verified. Like, I'm not worried about being sued, because if this person, Dirk Manning, tried to sue me, I'd win in court, hands down. Because I've got receipts, as the kids say. So just the same young woman would wind up getting hurt. And I always feel like when I was warned about that, because when I was first warned, I thought it was weird. But the way it was at first portrayed to me was that he was just someone who liked having the attention of women. We'll put it that way. I think that's the nicest way to put it. And who am I to get mad? I didn't even know they were married at this time, so they hid it from me. We wouldn't find this all out until, believe it or not, 2020, as everything was going on, this finally came out. And sometimes it's when we get at home and we can finally talk about things, the messages get out there. So I apologize to people. To this date, I still apologize for ever suggesting Dirk Manning to people. And that's not true in our community. There are not enough people who go, I didn't know that person was a scumbag. And I stress this to you, men. And I hate to make this a gender moment, but it has to be a gender moment because most men are not who you think they are when it comes to how they treat women. Pay attention to how your male friends interact with women. We had this one situation, and I'm not trying to blow anyone up, so I'm not going to use any names here, but this one creator basically started saying things to the wife of one of the creators, and I was trying to build a creator team, and this is why I just stopped. Too many creators are just scummy human beings, and it broke my heart. But this guy was like hitting on the creator's wife, and they came up to me, and I put it to an end. This person was kicked out of anything I was going to do. And I told them, don't even bother talking to me. Keep your mouth shut. Stay away from me for 2 years, and maybe I'll reevaluate. But man, so many people had excuses and would still mess with this person. I'm not. Like, he tried to walk up to me one time, and I was like, fuck off. That was it. Nothing. No time of day. And anytime, like, his name comes up, I tell the fucking truth. All the creators, when I created something, I wanted it to be everyone gets a say. Every one of them fucking coward creators were like, oh, we shouldn't put out a public statement. I thought we should. This guy's grabbing hands, kissing hands, stopping people at their table in like a very intimidating manner. They looked like they were getting robbed as opposed to buying a comic book. But there are a lot of cowards. A lot of men don't want to understand how it is and how it feels pressured and all that, because the why is what scares me. And if I'm being honest, it's because men don't want to be held accountable possibly for the things they've done. I'm neurodivergent. I'm very bad. I'm sure I've been awkward at times, and I'll own that. But I've never crossed a line. That Me Too movement, when they asked all men to stand, to sit, and think on themselves and ask the people in their lives. I had that opportunity to ask people in my lives, and I came out golden. Am I awkward? Damn right. And neurodivergent. But I never take it to a bad place. I think the worst thing I ever did, if I'm being honest with you all, this is when I was starting to become pretty big in comics in the indie side. And there was this young lady, just got divorced, very pretty, very attractive. We were talking about comics really big, and then all of a sudden the conversation got weird and kind of quiet, and it was through Instagram. And I knew this person didn't like to be pursued in a way that made them feel like the person wanted too much. And this was a bad conversation. I was having a bad time. And I was like, fuck. And I got in my head, like I was so important. I didn't want like one of those bad moments where this person just ghosted me. So I decided very quickly what I was going to do, right, is I would just come on a little strong and just kind of scare them away. I had just gotten out of a bad marriage and a divorce. I freaked about how anything would look. My son was autistic and had all these different classes, and I was coming to this person to have conversations, and it felt like pulling teeth. And that's like the worst story about me with women, and having fights with them after we break up when I was younger. But like never anything serious, just name calling and making people feel bad. And now I feel bad about that later in life. Young, being immature, but nothing I have to look back on and be like, ooh, how could I have been that person? I'm such a horrible human being. Just more like, wow, you're an idiot sometimes. And I'm glad I passed that test. What do we got? I hate to say it, but some predatory people seem to always follow a pattern of who they go for. And that is scientifically true, is some people are more likely than others to be affected by that. Let's see. Lady says Preds also have a lot of power in communities and endear themselves to others. I think we read that, but it was worth repeating. And we got a lot of comments now. All right. Caffeinated Shenanigans agrees with Lady, and Amazon Chick says to Lady, that's how they operate. They are in for the long plan, right? They embed themselves and then take over. Now, it's no huge mystery that people with money always seem to be able to get away with things because they are always generous with their money, and people like to be around people with money. It always shocks me more the people who have less money that always get away with it. And they're probably even more of a dangerous one, because without all the finance, they still get away with a lot. But if a Dom says you don't need aftercare, I need aftercare more than you, it's a big red flag. I don't think I've ever heard that happening, but shit, yeah. The Dom means you're in control. You're the coach. You're the bus driver. It does not mean that you don't get aftercare, but your aftercare has to come later. Or it has to somehow, it's them hugging you after play, maybe, that makes you feel reconnected. Because a lot of times I said for a Dom aftercare, I feel should be a reconnection moment so, they don't hate you for everything you just did to them. Someone who constantly refers to their strong connections within the community says, Wandering Alice. Yeah, that's kind of a look how important I am. Debbie says, in addition to the image, the performative aspect of it. Oh, good point. I've seen both sides take advantage. That's always going to happen because kink has to deal with human beings, and it's very sad. Caffeinated Shenanigans says Preds have their own internal vetting process to determine who is most vulnerable and also who's a threat. There are predators who are in community positions that keep people out who'd be strong-willed, open, critical thinkers, and unintimidated free speakers, if that makes sense. Yep, it is gaslighting and manipulation through emotion. Absolutely true. Caffeinated Shenanigans. Protocol. No. Root back to join as a guest? I don't know what the fuck TikTok's going on about. All right. Caffeinated Shenanigans says, Debbie, this vulnerable and marginalized people. I don't know what you mean by marginalized, but that there's some truth definitely to ostracized people or people who are looking to heal seem to attract predators, which is very, very sad. Caffeinated Shenanigans says at Debbie, yep, they're the masters of reading people to determine who could be swapped by their, who could be swayed by their lies, I should say. Yep, matters of degrees, says Debbie to Caffeinated Shenanigans, and goes on to say, unfortunately, I've been on the receiving end a few times and can spot them out for the mostly. It's hard. Again, predators also know how to hide things. A lot of them are narcissists, and narcissists are at pros at twisting it back on you. It is like fucking tennis, and they know how to return a serve. I don't like affection in general, so my play partner and I structure our aftercare over me cooking. And there's nothing wrong with that. Hell, it's nice to eat. Wondering else is those that threaten their access to potential victims. Yes, and that has happened. I have been in the community and called people out, and I didn't care how uncomfortable it made people. And I never will, but it comes at a cost. You guys have seen it just this year. I got doxxed for pointing out something that even the other content creator couldn't do and wound up getting it into the feelings. Oh, people say I can't. Their own video talked about how problematic it was that they were teaching something, but I was the bad guy. And this is just how people think they can act on the internet. And it continues, and it'll always continue. We will always have the I can hurt you because you are kinky going against us. Marginalized people are people who are powerless in social settings. Okay. Marginalized was taught to me a little different, but I can see that. There was part one to that message, Wandering Alice. I will look for it. They have been definitely acting up. We got kicked out of Kink Educator on the other channel and had no notice about it. By the way, anyone can jump on if they want to and have a conversation, share something. As women, we tend to carry our wounds more visibly than men, so Preds look for the signs. I don't know about that because I do know that men show things and maybe you're not looking for the things, but when it's seen, they get used again. I mean, people who are manipulative know how to look on every gender and get what they want from everyone. I think that's short-sightedness to make it about gender in that. I think that's just a social idea that men aren't good with their feelings. I think men are afraid to share their feelings because their feelings get weaponized against them. For some men, not all men. And it's a conversation about mental health that we need to have with everybody and stop putting gender between it. The only reason I brought up gender today about men, and it really just comes down to this, and this is the way to make it gender free, but about all people, when you are not in their dating pool, you'll never see who they are when they want to date someone, unless you watch it from afar. So pay attention to your friends and how they treat potential suitors. And here we go from our YouTube. I hate to say it, but some predatory people seem to always follow a pattern of who they go for. Absolutely makes sense. Immediately calling you pet names. That's a good one. That's a good one. Without agreement. Everything should be communicated, negotiated, and consented to. They really have been, says Alice. This is Debbie to Wandering Alice. I don't think it showed up. Yeah. And we're caught up. If anyone wants to jump on, I'm going to be on for another at least 10 minutes. And then I'm heading out. So, we had a great conversation today. 45 minutes on here. Sorry about the Kink Educator TikTok, whatever the hell that was. It was just a blank screen. We were still live. It looked like I was live. I wonder if this is a new deterrent for TikTok. Instead of having to fight with me about something, they'll make it look like I'm still live on my end, and I'll just be wasting my time. I will download that video. I'm so curious if there's a moment of signing off, because I do sign off at the very end. So that will be something I do tomorrow, and I'll do some research. And maybe it was technical glitch. I'll get back to you on that. I don't intend to bring gender into it. Apologies. No, I understand caffeinated shenanigans. It's very hard not to bring gender into it. We have been raised to be gender biased to every gender. We have been taught things, and we're not looking at the bigger picture. It goes back to, if I can bring us full circle, it goes back to the idea that, like, training. We need to train submissives. Well, most of the training goes for doms, right? And we kind of have to step back from that. So we'll see. Once again, I can actually check now. I wanted to check to see when our official 2-year anniversary is. Now, we're not going to do anything very big. It's 2 years. It's not like we haven't cured cancer. I think the next really big one, if TikTok is still around, will be when we're doing this 5 years. We'll just mention it in passing. Like, the fact that we made it 2 years does say something, considering how many people tried to cancel us on day one, because we would not comply. We said, you're full of shit, and we're going to teach it our way, because our way relies on consent forward. All right, so let's see. I swear to you, I had put it in the consent one. So let me see. Consent is at the top. I just wonder if I moved it. It's easier to search here, because there are 50 parts to this. I don't know why it doesn't show. Oh, there we go. Okay, wait. I think I found it. 9/7. 9/7 was our first day. So this Sunday will officially be 2 years of this account. And we have been canceled twice. We had, like, this account was gone. Like, they told me there was no way I was getting it back. The third time, they just came to me and were like, hey, what's going on? Because we had passed the first two. I'll be honest with you. I swear to you that some of the things that we went through early on were used as a reason to change certain rules. I do think there's this bullying group mentality where everyone piles on. It's the dog pile thing that TikTok now takes a lot more seriously. But what do I know? I just work here. I don't intend. Oh, we've talked about that. Don't even worry about it. Happy early birthday. Yeah. I'm proud. I want to thank Alice, Debbie, Sage. Of course, Lilith came in the past year. Has been an awesome thing. We've had, oh man, there's so many people I would want to thank. And I feel like I'm never going to get it right. There's not enough time to talk about it with all the amazing people that are, you know who you are. You guys have been on the show. I appreciate you all immensely. 2 years. Yeah, 2 years. And Freaky Friday ran, like, for those who don't remember, we actually did Freaky Friday outside every Friday, because originally we couldn't even call it Fetish Friday. We did it outside of Panera Bread for a year. For the first year, if I remember correctly, we basically got close to a year. And then someone kind of ruined it one night, and that was it. We weren't allowed outside anymore. And it wasn't something they said to us. It wasn't the weird video they made. It was the fact that they dragged someone into it and made someone feel awful. Now, that person was definitely high, and I would run into them later when they were sober, and they did apologize. But it was too late. We could never feel safe again. And it was bad enough that some people actually knew where we were coming from, where we were recording that, so it was another problem. Caffeinated Shenanigan goes, you should be. This kind of focused, open-minded educational approach is much needed. It wasn't around when I came up in the 90s, and if it had been, I would have avoided a lot of mistakes. And that's the whole intention. Let me tell you, 3 things inspired what I do. The first thing is when I first realized I was going to be into kink, I was very young and fucking terrified about it. So I want to be there to explain the journey for those who are early on and afraid of who they are. And I want to let them know that you don't have to be afraid, use consent, and these are some other things to learn. Number 2 is the fact that I heard from many different people about their first experience in the kink space and how bad the first experiences were. And this went across genders, and how they were taken advantage of and convinced of things that just weren't inherently true. To this day, still heartbroken over a lot of that. So that's number 2. And number 3, I saw what people were doing, and it wasn't good stuff. I'd made my comic book. I was very proud of it. It sells really well at Comic-Cons. But I needed to do more. I had the opportunity to do more. And someone tagged me and said, well, you know your stuff. Why aren't you teaching? And a lot of it had to do with the community I was in was so stifled. And later on, it became very clear that they were ran by consent violators. These were people who did not take things seriously and were a consensual nightmare community. Should trademark that one. But a year after taking that on and knowing the changes I made for it, I think that community is better off, but there's still problems. But it's for them to fix now, because I am not part of the community, but I know some of them still check in with my lives. And if I keep doing what we're doing, there's going to be less space for them to live. When someone can point out in the video, hey, Rob said this was bad. With that, I'm going to sign off. Our 10 minutes is up already. I'm going to say goodnight to you all. Thank you. This is our last video, technically, of the week that we normally do. That doesn't mean we won't pop up, but this is our weekly video. Sometimes we have a theme going into it beforehand. Sometimes I make it up on the fly, and there will be some Wednesdays where I won't be able to attend. There will be one in October, I believe. I'll be traveling to do a show. Thank you and have a good night, says Lady Letty with the chocolate. Love the chocolate. Need more of that chocolate, as a matter of fact. And you guys know, let's keep doing this. By the time we start our program next week, it'll be 3rd year. We're starting our 3rd year. We're in our 3rd year. And yeah, fuck yeah. That's how I'm ending it. Thank you. I'm going to stay on for a couple more minutes over on YouTube. Thank you for tuning in. And make sure to tune out the predators in your community by standing up and saying, that's a red flag. Let's talk about it. All right. So that's it, guys. Another Wednesday show has been done, come and gone. I am very thrilled. How far we've come. Let's see if we can't build up this YouTube. If you guys have kinky friends that want information, want to ask questions, please share it with them. I really want to build up this channel now because we don't know what's next. The truth is we could be losing TikTok by the end of the month. We have cashed in as much as we can on what we have done on TikTok, and we could use a backup. And I think YouTube should be our backup. Right now, our views are horribly low. This is a better platform for people who know where to find us with the weekly show. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on this channel and make sure you go into the settings. Let me see if I can't throw up the settings and show you guys really quickly while we're here. So I talk about YouTube too much, and that might have been why we were having problems, by the way. Let me mute myself. Actually, we'll just go to this. Give me 1 second. I'm going to be right with you. I need to go to me, and I think, no, okay, it's not making me stop the video. All right, so I'm going to share the screen with you all. Let's do the screen share. Okay. Here we go. And there it is. So right over here, we have, see, I can't use myself because it won't give me the options. So, oh, I'll just go to my Comic-Con one. All right. That's a very old video. That's kind of embarrassing. We're Comic-Con Online, I think, on YouTube. I changed the name recently. There we go. So right over here, see how it says subscribed on the bottom? See, I'm already subscribed, but if you go into here and you want all, not personalized, all. Personalized is just weird. I wonder what personalized means on YouTube. Let's see. What mean as a setting on YouTube? Let's see what it actually means. Personalized refer to notifications or ads that are tailored to you based on your viewing history, channel activity, and engagement with the platform rather than a generic all notification. So basically, they're taking control of it. So instead, make sure you guys are going over and hitting the all, find out everything. If you like what we got going on. I like what I do on Comic-Con. We actually did one today, the comic pricing panel. That was a banger. I was really impressed with all the information I got in there. Oh my God, look at the younger picture of me, the right bottom corner with my hair as I was growing it out. Oh, 3 years ago. Look at that. Look at that flock of hair so you guys can see. Those are my most popular videos. Robin Lord Taylor, the soul sharing moment. That was great. Definitely check it out. That's it for now. With this, let's get this off the screen and I'll come back and hang out with you. I'll deal with the comments, wrap us up, and go home. So thank you for your time and wisdom. Lauren says, I'm just sharing. Remember, we're a tribal history. Pass it down with each other. Good night. I believe I have YouTube listed as a good resource on FET. Thank you. I appreciate that. That matters. All right. I'm going to go water my throat and put my batteries for my mower on the charger so I can hit it tomorrow. With that said, I'm going to say goodnight to you all. Stay kinky, my friends. And remember to use diaper. Did I ask permission? Extensively, the representation before asking for consent. Extensively should be the question and answer period where you explain the risks. And with representation is you let them ask questions. But if you're the dom, make sure to ask them what the risks are. If you're the submissive, ask the top what your boundaries were. Aha! Remember, BDSM is not inherently sexual. It is mental. We think about it before we do it. Well, we think about it, we communicate about it, we converse about it, we negotiate about it, and we use diaper to actually go forward and ask for consent. And after we get consent, we use the new acronym to set up our scenes, needs, expectation, wants of a scene or dynamic. And we use a pen to create our dynamics and our relationships. So what's pen? Well, that's protocols engaged via consent. So go out there and be kinky, my friends, but only consensually. That's it for now. We'll see you next week. Sort of same time, 6:30 p.m. should work. And we'll talk more about kink next week. If anything comes up, just the next Wednesday, because we might be going somewhere next Wednesday. But follow us on TikTok for the exact schedule. And if I don't have a live that Wednesday, I will make a quick video during the day to just give you guys a heads up. Okay, good night. Stay kinky.